So Nectar Sweet says, when I listen to audiobooks and there are some words I don't know, but I can understand the story, can I skip it without searching it? And that's a great question because it raises an issue that I think many people have when it comes to deciding how to learn and thinking of different modes of learning, right? And maybe it makes sense for me to give you an example from my own life and my own learning. I'm a learner, just like all of you, okay? I read books to learn. I want to learn new things. And I want to also enjoy what I listen to. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, mostly audiobooks. I do read, you say I have some books back here. I read some physical books, but mostly physical books are just a good place to put my coffee cup, and I prefer audiobooks. But then the question is, do I always need to be totally focused on learning every single thing, or should I just relax? I understood what that is about, so do I need to really look up that word specifically? And I think the way to think about it is modes. Okay, so are you familiar with modes on a camera? And you click them over. Film mode, photo mode, landscape mode. Right? If you've seen a camera, you'll see that it has these switches, and you switch it over to different modes. Okay. So think about it like that when it comes to anything that you do as part of a lifestyle. The reason I say that is if you're always in on mode, totally focused 100% mode, you may find that you less often decide to do that thing. But if you have a range of modes, then you may find you more often decide to do that activity because you have different modes to choose from. And that's absolutely true with myself and reading or listening to audiobooks. For some things, like literature, for some things, like podcasts, for some things, like a nonfiction book about business or maybe a nonfiction book about history, if I hear an unfamiliar word, occasionally, I may not look it up and just let it go by because I'm enjoying it. I understand everything generally. I know what's going on. I'm enjoying the process of just listening and comprehending. Of course, that's very important. Listening and comprehending. This is nice for me. This is my listening mode, generally. But there are other times when I'm listening to something that's very dense, when I need to be completely focused. Now, I have different ways to focus. Sometimes when I'm focused on something that's very complicated, I will take notes. Sometimes I take notes by typing. Sometimes I take notes by actually speaking into my watch, which then changes my voice to text and saves that somewhere. Sometimes I do that. So I have different ways to take notes. Sometimes I'm just thinking and building out things called memory palaces. When I'm doing that, it takes really a lot of concentration. So I'm sitting, I'm listening, and if there's a word I don't know, pusillanimous. What is pusillanimous? Pusillanimous, what does that mean? I look up the word pusillanimous because I need to understand it not 90%. I need to understand it 100% in order to understand the whole thing. And this is usually the case for very dense philosophy. Recently, I've been reading Kant, as a philosopher, Immanuel Kant. And it's pretty dense. It's not easy to read. It's pretty hard, actually. So if I were just on a walk listening casually, my brain would comprehend some of the ideas, but it would float out of my head immediately because I didn't fully get it. So when I'm listening to Kant, I'm sitting there like this. Or sometimes I'm playing a video game. Sometimes I'll play Call of Duty. But I'm not focused on the game. That's what my active brain is doing, or that's what my passive brain is doing. And my active brain is focused on the material, and somehow it helps me focus. Whenever I come to a word that's tough, I'll look it up, make sure I understand it. In fact, I don't often look up words. I may just ask Google, like this. Hey Google, what does pusillanimous mean?
Pusillanimous is used as an adjective to mean showing a lack of courage or determination. Timid, similarly to cowardly and timorous. Do you want to hear how pusillanimous is spelled?
No. Thank you.
No problem.
So I use that way because that doesn't disrupt my flow often. So if I'm listening to something, I'll just speak a question. I don't know the word. It comes back. I process it. I may go back 30 seconds and listen to that part again and then go through it again. Now, this doesn't work for everybody, but what I'm really trying to say is modes. And you can use this not only for audiobooks, but also for physical reading, right? Sometimes you're just reading to enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that because it makes you want to do the activity, which is better than not doing it. And sometimes when it requires you to really focus, then you have that mode, the intense mode. I think I have probably four or five different modes. I've got the memory palace mode, the voice notes mode, the walk mode, the intense mode, video game mode maybe, and casual listening mode. So I've got these different modes, and they work for me, and the thing that I notice is they encourage me to continue doing it. If I only had the intense study constantly, always look up every single word, every single tiny thing mode, only that, then I would probably only read once a week, and that would not be bad, instead of every single day. So what's better, not doing it or doing it and having the modes? Go with the modes. That is a good way. It works for me. If it doesn't work for you, okay. But I've been listening to audiobooks for about 6 or 7 years, and it just takes practice, and you get used to it, and it gets much easier. Good question, Nectar Sweet, as usual. Of course, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done that, and check out my full courses in the links in the description.